very warm good evening to all our viewers. Welcome to the Evening Review Show. I'm your host, Matthias Aufiko. Well, there's been a lot of political activity in the country's political arena. Of course, the parties are gearing themselves up for the November election. Campaign mode is in full swing. Of course, there's also been a lot of intra-party squabbles taking place, and parties still getting their houses in order as far as ensuring that they are ready come November 27. One such party is a National Unity Democratic Organization, better known as Nudo. There's been a couple of issues. Of course, they've had their congress, which ended up not taking place due to squabbles amongst factions and so on. And for that, we have in studio tonight Mr. Veparura Kandirikirira. He's the Secretary General of the party's youth wing. Mr. Veparura, good evening and welcome.
Yeah, evening, Mr. Ufiku. Evening to the viewers. We are here to alert the public of what is happening.
No, it's good to have you here.
Yeah.
Of course, there's been a squabble, especially within the mother body. Where is the Youth League in all of this?
No, the Youth League is there. We were invited to the party's congress, as per our constitution. 12 members from the Youth League attend the congress, whereby the SG of the wing and the deputy SG are ex-officio member to the party central committee, which is the party national council. So we have been there. We are ready. We participate. And one thing about our party, it's the Youth League. It's part of the executive committee of the party, whereby I represent them. So we are fully involved in the daily administration, in all the hierarchy of the party where decisions are taken.
Yeah. So what is the feeling from your members on the ground? What are you getting? What is their feeling towards what's going on in the party right now?
Definitely, you cannot lie about it. Nobody is happy with what is happening, even though we might have different opinion. But the fundamental or the consensus that we have as young people, obviously, when you are mobilizing young people to join your party, you will have those issues. The party is a bit unstable. You guys are fighting forever from the previous congresses up until now. There have been those squabbles, infighting. So it's obvious that it causes distraction in the party. It's causing distraction for the growth of the party.
Yeah.
So definitely, but it's politics at the end of the day. We are in politics. It's a game of politics. You will definitely have those type of squabbles. They are normal. But also, I think to some extent, we are to blame. Our constitution, it needs review, because some things are happening because of the law of the party.
Yeah.
So, but definitely the young people are not happy with what is currently happening in the party. But the Youth League remain fully behind the leadership. We are here to ensure that we stabilize the party together with the leadership, and ensure that we are going to the masses to ensure that people vote the party regardless. Because at the end of the day, it's not who is leading, it's not who is going to parliament, it's the party to be represented.
Yeah.
The party to be politically active in Namibian politics, regardless of who is there.
Yeah. Before we get to the problematic laws that you've alluded to, just on the youth issue again, we know that the majority of those who are going to vote come November 27 are young people. The current situation in the party, how difficult does it make your job as a youth wing to canvass support amongst the young people in the country?
Yeah, no, as I've said earlier, I don't know the length of the discussion, but I came in the leadership of the Youth League in 2013. That's when we had our second Congress. At that point, our main focus was to ensure that we establish the Youth League internally, because there were no existence. So our aim was to focus on ensuring that we have young people in local authority, leadership positions at the grassroots level, being a branch, region, constituency, and I think we passed that test. We managed to, even the chairperson of the Youth League is a councillor in Okakarara local authority. We have the local authority councillor in Leonardville is part of the Youth League. So we managed.
Yeah.
Now, the challenge is when the party is fighting, young people are distracted they are demotivated. So all these things is contributing to the growth of the party and to the growth of the wing or of the youth league at large. But at the end of the day, we are here to push, to pull the track to ensure that young people join the party. We move forward. We are on board. We are on board, regardless of the challenges.
Yeah.
We are on board.
So as a youth wing, and I'm sure you've probably discussed it with your fellow EXCO members in the Youth League, what is your position? What is the best way forward for the party as far as unity is concerned, leading up to the elections and post-elections as well?
It's very difficult. The Congress was called. It was called off by the National Executive Committee. We are planning for a reconvening of the National Executive Committee. I got the invitation from the SG's office. We are meeting on the 31st. So I think we will have a position from the wing. The first thing first, we need to see whether the resources permit the party to go to another Congress before elections, or we will call the Electoral College of the party to work on the party list. Because one thing that the members are not being well informed is, even though if the Congress could convene, we could have still, after the Congress, we could have still organized an electoral college whereby we will elect our party list and to endorse whether we will have a presidential candidate or not. If so, who will it be? Because mind you, our constitution does not say the president is the presidential candidate automatically.
Yeah.
It's still the mandate of the National Council and the Electoral College to decide as such.
Yeah.
So I believe we are committed. We are waiting for the National Executive Committee meeting to hear from the chief administrator of the party, who is the SG, resources wise. But if there is a possibility for us to go to a Congress before elections, I think it would be ideal. But if not, there is still an opportunity to do the Electoral College. We revive the party, then we run our campaigns, we go to elections. Come next year, we elect a new leadership.
Yeah.
But for us to ensure that the masses on the ground pull the track together, we need to be very smart on the issue of the Electoral College. You don't want to to elect a list based on slates, but because we have slates, at the end of the day, you need all the functions within the party to be on board, to run the campaign collectively. So my plea to all the party members out there is to remain calm, to come on board. Whatever the National Executive Committee will decide, if it's the Congress route, we go back, we start over, we elect a new leadership. If not, if the leadership says the resources are not permitting, we are going for Electoral College to fully participate, to lobby among one another that we need all the block. We need a Berry block on the list. We need VK block on the list. We need the block of News Councillor on the list, Wapingene, so that once we are out of the Electoral College, we pull collectively in one direction.
Yeah.
That is the best way we can solve our internal party politics. Then you know that there won't be push and pull factors within the party. All people are on the list. We are all going to the ground, mobilizing young people, mobilizing members to vote for the party to ensure that all of them may go to parliament.
Yeah. if you look at the intensity of the division and the animosity between the factions, do you think there's a chance that they can converge around one table?
It's possible. Sorry, I have the flu. It is possible. It is possible. It's just the dynamics on how we can maneuver, because in the National Executive Committee itself, it consists of all these people that I'm referring to.
Yeah.
So if we can start there, regardless whether Mr. Rukoro, Vetaruhe, even though they are not member of the Executive Committee, but they are fully represented. There are people that were supporting their functions.
Yeah.
So we can start there and try to convince one another. If we start there, then we can engage them individually, then we'll take it up from there. But the possibility is there. We came a long way. We know one another. We have personal relationships. This is just politics.
Yeah.
Even some of the people that are doing all the things, we have family relationships, we have brotherhood relationships. So I think the possibility is there, unless we have different motives.
Yeah.
If the motive is not to save the party, then there won't be a possibility. But if we all can come to our consensus and see that we need to save the institution, definitely we can.
There's always been this perception and claims that young people are not interested in politics. But there's also been a school of thought that says that fights such as this, especially amongst the elderlies within the political circle, is what's driving the young people away from politics. They would rather focus on their professional lives. What do you say about those two schools of thought?
Definitely is right. I'm at UNAM, I'm a student there. At times you think young people are not even following the politics, but they are.
Yeah.
Wherever you meet, they are asking you critical questions. It shows that the interest is there.
Yeah.
They are following, but at some point they are disappointed. So I believe the elders should change their ways of doing things. And even regardless of this, I want to give you a very technical example. We had two MPs who were backbenchers of their political parties, my senior Saibe Ben Vipwa. These people were fighting and insulting SWAPO. Young people were moved by their way of articulating, putting their issues, and even holding the government and the SWAPO as the ruling party accountable. They left their political parties, they joined SWAPO. So what do you expect? Young people now see politics as a way of survival. People are there to use us to get their own personal benefits. So these things, the internal party infights, the way politicians jump the ships, all these things contribute young people not to be interested in politics. And the other thing is people are tired of the ruling party.
Yeah.
Young people are frustrated. But now their question is, should I vote for Nudo? Will it bring much change? Because mind you, opposition parties in Namibia are a lot. So it brings in the question of seriousness. Do we have political party? Their motive, is it really to take over or just to go to parliament and earn a living? Because the population of the country and the number of opposition party that we have, it does not correspond. So some people decide to stay at home and rather not vote at all. Because even if they don't vote for SWAPO, their mentality is saying still the SWAPO will win because they will be dividing their votes within 20 opposition parties. So I believe it's two things. First thing first, the elders, they are portraying a bad image of what is politics. Secondly, leaders of the opposition parties must swallow their pride and come to a consensus that most of the opposition parties, their ideologies are more or less the same. So we need to come together and see to it whether we will be able to form a coalition opposition party for us to outvote the ruling party. By doing so, it will restore hope and faith in the electorates. They will see that these people are driving towards change.
Well, Mr. Kandirikirira, we head for a quick break and we'll be back to continue this conversation. To our viewers, we head for a quick break. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back from that short break. Mr. Kandirikirira, can you give us the current status of the party as far as the leadership is concerned? We've heard a lot, especially on social media, those saying there's a need for an interim committee to lead the party and so on. What is the current status in the party?
I believe the party has a leadership. The party elected a leadership in 2019 Congress under the leadership of President Ushwa Muinyangwe. We planned for a Congress. The Congress was postponed. Even though we have different interpretations, whether it was legally or unlawfully, it's open for discussion. But when you elect a legitimate leadership in a Congress, you need a Congress, you need a legitimate Congress for them to end their terms. So I believe there is no need for an interim leadership at all. We just need to convince the leaders. We can do all the things to ensure that we convince the leaders that we call for a Congress. As I've said earlier, the National Executive Committee will convene. You cannot claim that the leadership has expired this year, March, but you were ready to participate in a Congress that was organized by an expired leadership. It's logically does not make sense. It's obvious that we are still legitimate and part of the executive. The president is there, the SG is there, the executive is there, the central committee is there, whereby even the traditional leaders who announced that there is an interim leadership, those chiefs are part of the National Council as an ex officio members of the National Council. So how on earth can an ex officio member have a mandate to speak on behalf of the party? Because being an ex officio is because of your position that makes you part of this leadership. There are people that are mandated fully by the Constitution to run the daily administration, to speak on behalf of the party. So I believe, and that's why I said we need, our Constitution needs real amendments. And we have been arguing about this for a period of 5 years. It's not that we don't want chiefs to be within the party structures, but when the party was formed in 1964, it was formed by Chief Council, of course, but these 60 years after its birth. So you cannot rule a party like we are still in 1964. It's even, I was reading people's comment when the chiefs were doing announcements. People were asking, is this a traditional party or what is it? So how can a Vambu person, a Nama person, align him or herself to the party whereby traditional leaders of a specific ethnic group are taking over and running the affairs of the party? So we need to amend our Constitution. And we need to tackle the issue of traditional leaders. They need to be respected. They need to have either to serve as an advisory council of the party, but they don't need to be actively involved in the daily administration of the party, because they should be the one to mediate in such instances. But unfortunately, to some extent, some of them are part of causing commotion within the party. So how will you respect them if they are doing that? So I think the party is stable, the leadership is there, we'll convene the national executive, then we move.
So what are some of the issues as far as the Constitution is concerned? What are some of the issues? I know you just mentioned now the issue of the traditional leaders. Say perhaps it will act as a blockage for other ethnic groups who would like to join the party. But in terms of decision making, what hindrance do they bring to the table?
You know what? Chief Riwago was very smart. The late Chief Riwago. We had an argument over that when we amended the Constitution in 2013. So Chief Riwago wanted to protect his territory because he was a chief and he was a party president. So he wanted to command, to be able to decide anything in the Chief Council and to impose it on the party. So he needed the support. And he knew that those chiefs, if he decide whatever with traditional leaders and bring forth to the party, they will be able to support him and it will move. So the unfortunate part or the fortunate part, by then Chief Riwago was a party member. Today you have even if I take the two functions of the traditional authority, PC Kashiwa and PC Riwako, both of them are not Nudo members.
Yeah.
So the traditional leaders that are Nudo members, they are being commanded by non-Nudo members. Then they want to impose things that are affecting the party on the party.
Yeah.
So I think the role of the traditional leaders need to be redefined in our modern politics. Then we respect them as the co-founders of the party. They have their own table, either serve as in an elders council, because that is a promotion of a political party. They serve in an elders council of the party. They are given mandate to advise the leadership on a monthly basis or 2 months basis. Reports will be given to them on the progress of the party. For them not to serve in a central committee meeting of the party like all 40 of them.
Yeah.
It's just it's not politically right having an ex officio members that are more than the direct elected members of who were elected by the Congress to serve different portfolios. It's not making sense.
Yeah. So are you then saying that if the two Ovaherero Traditional Authority factions, those two leaders, if they were Nudo members, would it have made the situation easier?
Yes, somehow it could have, because there could be mutual consensus politically, because they are party members. Even themselves, they could have been members of the party central committee. So we could have taken a decision collectively.
Yeah.
But which is not the case now.
Yeah. So moving forward, as far as this politics in traditional authority issues are concerned, what would you say would then be? You mentioned that you'll rather prefer they sort of serve on advisory in an advisory capacity, and there needs to be a change of the constitution. But then again, they could argue that the party was founded on these principles, the principles of traditionalism, and the gap between the traditions and the political aspect was never so wide. So how can you then narrow it without necessarily eliminating them?
The party was founded on those principles. Chief Clemens Kabua, who was the first party president in 1976-77, he knew that politically, even though the party is founded on the principle of traditional leaders, if I want to lead Namibia, I need other ethnic groups. That's when he founded the DD Alliance. He went to get other tribes to ensure that the party moves this direction. The party was founded in 1964. 10 years later, the mentality or the thoughts of the party president, who was also a chief then, saw that this is not working. I need to do this. So it's just a matter of sitting on a table. We had one OTA all these years. Today we have two traditional. Today we have two PCs. So where we were yesterday is not where we'll be tomorrow. Even those two functions, they will divide in 4. Then now, which traditional leaders are you using? Yeah. So I think we just need to run Nudo like a political party. Even if we have to go down because of these issues, then we build up from there, because we cannot live like this. Yeah. Because Nudo is not divided. The reason why we are fighting in Nudo is because of the two functions of the OTA. Nudo is not divided. The party itself is not divided. There are no functions within Nudo. The only functions that were there politically, it was a function of Veparura and Ushiwa when they were fighting for a Congress in 2018. Whatever is happening now, up until this Congress that just failed, and even going forward, is just an aftermath of what happened in the traditional authorities. And how do you allow a party to survive like that? Like some of us, we join, like me, I joined Nudo because of Nudo. I started participating in traditional matters because apparently I'm a leader of the party. I must participate. I was never an OTA fanatic. I was a Nudo fanatic. But by default, because I'm a party leader, I should participate in traditional matters. So such people are being discouraged and demotivated. You have, how can the party grow? You need to get other members that do not belong to OTA.
Yeah.
But yet here you are only accommodating Ovaherero Traditional Authority in your political party daily administration.
Yeah.
So how can all the others, even if you want to say Nudo belong to Ovaherero, so how about all the others, royal houses, that are not being accommodated in the Nudo house?
Yeah. Okay.
Like the youth league, we went as far as Katima, as far as Kavango. We are there. We have established our structures. Even the party, for the very first time, when it made its delegation to the Congress, we had more branches from Rundu, Kavango. The president tomorrow is Zino Shakati.
Yeah.
He's addressing young people, the youth league. So we are trying to get all those people. Now, at times when we are on the public platforms, people are speaking Ovaherero, they are speaking about traditional matters. They just lose focus. What are you guys discussing about? We are hearing a chief, a what? So these things are a bit confusing.
Yeah.
We need to go back to the drawing board. Yes, the party was founded on these principles, but where we are now,
Yeah.
what will be the beneficial process, pro and cons, that will be able to pull the party out of this river where we are today?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Kandirikirira, thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you very
And
much.
we wish you well with your going forward.
Yeah, we are trying. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, to our viewers, that's it for the evening review team. See you again tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a pleasant evening.